Let's talk about aliens for a second.
Why not?
I think a lot of people get it wrong in trying to create a version that they've seen on television with bodies. You know, if we think about consciousness and all this data and information in a field, could it not be that an intelligent life or presence can be non-physical and show up just as information in the field that would impact our consciousness?
Maybe this is is not some physical entity flying over from wherever in the universe, but something that's actually traversing these different layers of the non-physical. And it kind of makes sense because people who smoke DMT claim to make contact with these other beings or intelligences that are inhabiting this DMT space.
Wait, what?
Ah, you didn't know that? Actually,
No.
there's a lot of, I mean, if you eat the seeds of the datura plant, you also have like, this is always like hellish experiences, but there you also get to interact with beings that are you perceive as being alien intelligences. So
wait, hold on. I've never heard this before. We had one person who had a drug OD experience, Buddha Betty, and her NDE included her landing on a spaceship. And she had a whole explanation of an interaction that she had in her life review and all these things. But no, I have not heard this.
Terrence McKenna called the machine elves.
That's true.
Those entities, which people seem to keep experiencing during certain psychedelic states. So what happens if these kind of leach over into the physical and somehow manifest stuff, and then we like, it's a totally different ball game.
I was with you until we got to DMT and aliens. Because also when I think of a lot of the experiences people have on very, very intense drugs, you know, in many cases, what I would imagine is that we're conjuring cultural constructs, right? We're conjuring things that are kind of, you know, in the ether. They're in the sort of vernacular. You know, I would, obviously it's very hard to do, you know, global DMT studies to see if we're having the same sort of, you know, imagery occur. But that's one of the challenges with the notion of, you know, the aliens as people describe them. If enough people describe them, it becomes kind of part of the vernacular, right? So I'm very interested in things that across cultures, right, people are able to access, meaning, you know, how much can we dip into what's happening on ayahuasca, what's happening with mescaline, what's happening with peyote. Like I want to do a cross-cultural study to see if the same imagery is occurring.
I mean, that's this kind of sacred geometry stuff, which seems to be universal. But coming back to the shamans, I mean, if ayahuasca, which is some vine and some bark put together randomly, you would think, in like a forest of whatever, 100,000 species, and if you ask the shaman, why exactly those two, this is a story a friend told me. She looked at him like disconcerted and said, well, the plants told us. Because the plants are living entities and intelligences and you commune with them. So this, again, spins into that these otherworldly, non-physical realms are inhabited by other expressions of agency and intelligence. And apparently that's why there's such successful healing techniques which were developed in shamanism, because they went and asked the plants. And Mother Ayahuasca as an entity.
Can we revisit aliens and DMT for a second? I feel like that needs a little bit more explanation about what's happening. I don't fully get it.
I pulled up an article from the Journal of Psychopharmacology. That's a very reputable journal. And they did a survey of entity encounter experiences with inhaled DMT.
This just feels like you teleport into DMT City, which has these whatever structures. It's weird. It's outside of space and time. There's no way you can describe it. And you encounter entities who seem to not be part of what you are projecting. It doesn't seem something that's part of you. It seems to be something totally alien in the sense that it's some intelligence which you can communicate with and which can give you insights.
This study was 2,561 individuals, and it was an online survey about their single most memorable entity encounter after taking DMT. And what was interesting is the encounter experiences were very similar to experiences people had when not on DMT when encountering aliens.
Oh.
So this would be something we would need to talk to Dr. Jeffrey Kripal about, because Jeffrey Kripal speaks to people all the time who are having altered perceptions of reality without drugs and who experience and report many of the same things. This is the place, and we're so glad, James, that you're open to these conversations. You know, this is the place where we see our podcast kind of landing squarely in the middle of. We are very interested when people have near-death experiences. If you've been abducted by aliens, I'm happy to talk to you. But what I'm interested in is, what is the scientific, conceptual, and theoretical framework that we structure an understanding of that experience in? So to me, this is fascinating because obviously people on DMT, we can say, okay, these are possibly transcendental experiences. But when they are similar to experiences that other people are having, one of the only explanations, besides everyone's crazy and I don't believe in it, is that there are people who have access to a different plane of reality that I don't understand, that I might say is impossible, but it is possible because they're experiencing it and reporting it, and it has cohesion with experiences that we can codify as, oh, this is happening.